You don't always know when someone's time is almost up, but sometimes your heart does. I didn't want to admit it when the changes began. They were small, so easy to explain away. A nap here, a forgotten name there. I told myself, they're just getting older. But deep down, something told me the truth. I just didn't want to believe it. If you've ever cared for someone over 70, you know what I mean. Aging comes with changes. That's expected. But when those changes start to gather in a pattern, a slowing down, a pulling away, that's when you need to pay attention. Because the final year doesn't always come with a warning bell. Sometimes it comes with a whisper. Today I want to walk you through 5 signs I wish I hadn't ignored. Signs that someone you love might be living their final year, even if they don't say it, even if you don't want to see it. This is life after 70. This is elderly wisdom earned the hard way. And if it helps just one person hold on tighter before letting go, then it's worth sharing. 1. They stop talking about the future. This is often the first and quietest sign. They don't say next summer anymore. They don't bring up birthdays, reunions, or home repairs. They begin to speak only in the present or in the past. At first it feels like humility, like they're just letting go of control. But over time it becomes clear. They're gently stepping back from the idea of what's next. My father always loved planning the spring garden. He'd draw little maps in his notebook, mark the seed dates, even buy tools in January just to be ready. But that final year, I noticed the notebook stayed shut. When I asked, "What do you want to grow this year?" he smiled and said, "I'll let the soil rest." I didn't realize what he meant until months later. He wasn't talking about the soil. He was talking about himself. According to the National Institute on Aging, emotional withdrawal and disinterest in future planning are common among older adults entering their final stage of life. Not because they're depressed, but because the body and mind instinctively begin to prepare for closure. If someone you love suddenly stops reaching toward the future, don't brush it off. Sit beside them. Ask about the past. Be present. That moment might mean more than you think. 2. They begin sleeping more and doing less. At first you think they're just tired. A bit more rest after breakfast. A longer nap in the afternoon. But then the energy never quite returns. They begin to skip little routines. Watering the plants, folding the laundry, feeding the dog, and instead choose the couch, the bed, or the quiet. I remember the moment it hit me. My wife, who always made the coffee every morning, didn't get up that day. She was awake. She smiled when I brought her a cup, but she didn't move from the chair. And then the next day, it was the same. She'd nap after breakfast, and then again after lunch, and then she started saying no to walks altogether. Most people assume this is just aging, but according to the Cleveland Clinic, increased fatigue and daytime sleep in older adults, especially when paired with a withdrawal from daily activity, can be an early sign of the body preparing for systemic slowdown. It's not just rest, it's conservation. The body is redirecting its energy toward the organs and functions that matter most in its final months. And here's what's cruel about it. It doesn't always look serious. No pain, no hospital visits, just a steady drift into stillness. And if you're not watching closely, you might miss the quiet way they're slipping out of your daily life. If someone you love is sleeping more than usual, take the time to sit with them, awake or not. Read aloud, hold their hand, ask gentle questions. The time they're awake might be shorter, but it still matters. And if this is happening in your home right now, I encourage you to share this video with your siblings, your caregiver, your friend. Sometimes acknowledging the truth together makes it easier to carry. 3. They eat less and lose interest in food they used to love. We didn't notice it at first. She still came to the table, still smiled when we passed the mashed potatoes or asked if she wanted dessert. But then I started realizing she was only taking a few bites, not because she didn't like the food, but because she just wasn't hungry. Even her favorites, peach cobbler, Sunday pot roast, sat mostly untouched. Appetite loss is one of the most common but overlooked final year signs in older adults. According to the National Institute on Aging, as the body begins to slow down, the digestive system follows. The need for calories drops, the sensation of hunger dulls, and food becomes less about nourishment and more about effort. But here's the emotional side most people miss. It's not just the body changing, it's the relationship with life itself. Food is joy, connection, memory. So when someone starts pulling away from it, they're also pulling away from the rhythm of daily living. If someone you love is pushing away their plate more often than usual, don't force them to eat. Sit with them. Offer soft, nutrient-rich options. Share stories at the table. Sometimes the meal isn't what matters, it's the moment shared around it. 4. They stop initiating connection, even with people they love. She used to be the first one to call the grandkids, the one who sent birthday cards, reached out to friends, remembered everyone's stories. But in the final months, the phone stayed on the table. The stamps stayed in the drawer. She still loved them. Nothing about her heart changed. But her need to reach outward quietly disappeared. This is a hard one to accept, especially for children, spouses, and lifelong friends. It feels like rejection, like disinterest. But in truth, it's none of that. According to research from Harvard's Aging Brain Initiative, many older adults nearing the end begin to withdraw socially. Not out of sadness, but out of instinct. It's part of the psychological preparation for closure. The body starts pulling inward, the mind follows. They may still enjoy hearing from you, but they stop reaching out first. They become receivers of love, not initiators. If this is happening to you right now, don't take it personally. Keep calling, keep showing up, sit next to them without asking too much. Presence speaks louder than words in the final season of life. And if any of this sounds familiar, please take a second to subscribe. This channel exists to hold space for you, for caregivers, for older adults, for anyone navigating this long, quiet goodbye. You don't have to walk it alone. 5. They begin letting go, without needing to say it. This is the most difficult sign to explain because it doesn't come with words. It comes with stillness, with softened eyes, with a kind of calm that almost feels holy. I remember the exact moment I saw it in her. We were watching the sunset through the living room window. She wasn't in pain, she wasn't talking. She was just there, peaceful, present. Her breathing was slow, her hands folded. She turned to me and whispered, "This has been a good life." And then she looked back out the window. That's when I knew. She wasn't afraid anymore. She wasn't clinging to the next moment. She was ready. End-of-life researchers call this the acceptance phase, a period of spiritual and emotional clarity that sometimes arrives before the final days. It's marked by forgiveness, gratitude, and quiet detachment from the noise of the world. If you sense this kind of peace in someone you love, honor it. Don't try to pull them back. Don't fill the silence, just be there. Hold their hand. Let your heart say what your words can't. These signs aren't always easy to see, and they're even harder to admit. But ignoring them doesn't protect you. It only steals the time you have left. If someone you love is showing these changes, don't wait for a diagnosis or a final moment to start loving them fully. Start now. Sit in their silence. Share their memories. Make peace while they're still here, because in the end, we don't remember everything, but we always remember how it felt to be held through the hardest parts. And if you're holding someone right now, in whatever way you can, that is love. That is legacy. That is life. After 70.